Hi everybody, I'm Ms. Karen at Adams Memorial Library. Thank you so much for joining me for another book report. Well, this week, since Thanksgiving's coming up, I thought I would have stories about food to share with you. And I actually like a lot of books about food, so I just picked some of my favorites. But that's what I have for you this week. And the first one, well, you know, we love The Very Hungry Caterpillar here at the library. And this is not only one of my favorite food stories, it's one of my favorite stories of all time. So I had to go with The Very Hungry Caterpillar by Eric Carle. And this next book is also by Eric Carle, plus some friends of Eric Carle's. It's called What's Your Favorite Food? This book also has a lot of different types of food in it. This one is called Vamos, Let's Go Eat. And it's written and drawn by Raúl III, and the colors are by Elaine. This one is called Delicious, Poems Celebrating Street Food Around the World. So it's got lots of different types of food that you could get in lots of different places. And the poems are written by Julie Larios, and the illustrations are by Julie Paschkis. This one is about food that was made by a lot of help. Lots of people and animals helped to make the food in this story. This one is called The CAZUELA that the farm maiden stirred, and it's written by Samantha R. Vamos, and it's illustrated by Rafael López. And this last book is called Apple Cake, A Recipe for Love, and it's written and illustrated by Julie Paschkis. So let me tell you a little bit more about this stories. I imagine you probably already know that the very hungry caterpillar really likes to eat. But I admire that. First thing the caterpillar did, there's another drawn painting by Eric Carle of the caterpillar. But first thing that the caterpillar does in the morning when it's born is look for food. So he starts off with an apple, some pears, some plums, strawberries, oranges. But even after eating all that fruit, when the caterpillar is so hungry, then it goes for a little bit of everything. And I don't know that I would eat all the stuff that the very hungry caterpillar eats, but I admire that he tried a lot of different foods and that he knows, like, oh, when you have a stomach ache, maybe you eat something nice and soothing to make you feel better. And maybe if you eat a lot one day, maybe the next day you can just have something like a salad. So you probably already know what happened with all that delicious food, how it helped the caterpillar turn into something. But if you want a reminder or if you don't know, please come to the library to check out The Very Hungry Caterpillar. Now in this next story, well, it's not really a story. It's just a list of different foods that different illustrators and authors like. And Eric Carle says his favorite food was Tannenhonig, pine honey. Now, I have had clover honey and orange blossom honey and wildflower honey, but I have never had pine honey made from pine needles, but I think it sounds delicious. And I never even knew it existed until I read this book and heard Eric Carle talk about it, but I hope I get to try it someday. But if you don't like honey, maybe you would like cheese. Cheese to read about in this book. Or oat cake, chocolate cake with chocolate icing. I like that. Or maybe you'd be interested in some ramen. Yes, what do you think? Dan Santat, that's his favorite food, ramen and with sauce. So I like this book because it has beautiful pictures and they're all in different styles because they're all done by different illustrators and they're all about different kinds of delicious food. Now in this book, this is Little Lobo, and he needs to get delicious food for some of his friends, and he needs to get it fast. So where can he go when he needs lots and lots of different things? Luckily, he just got a new bike with a wagon in the back, so he can carry a lot of stuff. And then his friend says, El Toro, the bull, needs you, Little Lobo, at the Coliseum, where El Toro and Los Luchadores are all practicing for their big match tonight. So, little Lobo travels to the Coliseum, and there they are. Those luchadores are all practicing. They're all ready for their matches. But when he's there, little Lobo hears this horrible sound, this big rumbling sound, and he says, "Oh, what is that?" And they say, "Oh, it's our bellies. We are so hungry, but we have to keep practicing. And we really would like some food before our big match tonight." But they all want different things. So where can little Lobo go? He goes to the plaza where all the food trucks are parked. Have you ever eaten from a food truck? I love food trucks. I think those are fun. They make the food right inside the truck, and then you go to the window and you order it. And then you can get it, and you can maybe even eat outside. I think food trucks are fun. And here, there are a lot of different kinds of food trucks. So little Lobo can find a lot of different kinds of foods, because some people want tacos, and some want burritos, and some want queso, cheese, and some want fruit, and some want desserts, and some want all of them. So I don't know. Do you think he's going to be able to get all the food that everybody needs in time? Will they get there in time before their big match so they have time to eat and digest before they have to wrestle? Well, if you come to the library and check out Vamos, Let's Go Eat, you can find out. This story, Delicious? Well, it's actually a series of poems, but these are also places that you could eat outside. This first one takes place in New York City, and it's also about food trucks. This girl thinks, oh, there are so many carts in the park. What should she have to eat? Cajun, Lebanese, Cuban, Thai? So many choices. What should I try? What do you think she would like? Oh, she could get soft pretzels or hot dogs or noodles, burritos, popsicles, all kinds of good stuff. But maybe if you were traveling in Morocco, you would buy something not from a food truck, but from somebody who rides around on a bicycle selling, what could you get there? Candy and figs and dates? That would be great. You could go find the bicycle seller. And I have never been to Peru, but if I ever get to go to Peru, I hope I get there during the festival that this girl is attending. It's a religious festival, and at this festival, they have cookies with stars, pink icing, and on star cookies with sprinkles, lots of sprinkles. And I think I would love that. I would love to go to the festival, and I would love to have those cookies with sprinkles. So in this story, you might get, or this book, you might get inspired to visit a lot of different places and try a lot of different foods. And this is a story where it needs a lot of people helping and animals. Everybody's helping to make something yummy in this story. This one is illustrated by Rafael López, who's one of my favorite illustrators. So I really like this book a lot. And this is the farm maiden, and she goes to the market and she finds this wonderful pot, the CAZUELA. I want a spoon too, but this will be big enough to feed all of her friends, she thinks. And I like the story by Samantha Arvamos because it's a cumulative story that keeps building and repeating, and I think those are fun. So it starts off with the pot that the farm maiden stirred. And then this is the butter that went into the cazuela, the pot that the farm maiden stirred. And this is the cabra, the goat that churned the cream that went into the mantequilla, the butter that went into the cazuela that the farm maiden stirred. And then the vaca, the cow, gives some leche, and that goes into the cazuela that the farm maiden stirred. And then here's the duck. The pato is going to the market. This is the duck that went to the market to buy the sugar, to flavor the leche, the milk made fresh by the vaca, the cow, while teaching the cabra, the goat, that churned the crema, the cream, to make the mantequilla, the butter that went into the cazuela that the farm maiden stirred. So the duck's going to go to the store, get some sugar. That's going to be added to the cazuela. There's some more friends coming, and they've got some things to add. And you'll find out what it is at the end of the story. But if it sounds good to you, In the back of the story, there's a glossary of Spanish words and there's a recipe for what they're making. I don't know if you have any animal friends who might help you, but maybe you have somebody else who could help you make this. And this story, Apple Cake, also has a recipe, and I do like books with recipes in. But this one's a recipe for love, and I think it's so sweet, this story. Sweet apple cake and sweet story. In the story, this is beautiful, kind, brilliant Ida, and Ida loves to read. She loves to read so much that sometimes when she's reading a book, she doesn't pay any attention to anything else. She doesn't even notice what's going on. She doesn't notice that her friend Alfonso wants to bring her flowers, sing her a song. No, she's still reading her book, so she hasn't even noticed anything else, but he thinks maybe she will notice if he makes her an apple cake. So first he's got to get the ingredients. So he rides a horse to a apple tree that's on a really, really, really high hill. He picks 3 apples, 2 red and 1 green. And he slices them up, puts them in the bowl, covers them with water. Then goes to the sun to get some butter. He goes to a cloud to get some sugar. He goes to the top of a very tall tree to get an egg. Oh my goodness, I don't know. He mixes this all up, adds a few more ingredients, and bakes it and thinks maybe, just maybe, Ida will notice. So if you'd like to check this book out from the library, you can find out if Ida likes the cake. And if it sounds good to you, you can make a cake too. There's a recipe for apple cake right here, and I've made it before, and I think it's delicious. And I did not have to go to the sun or to the clouds to get the things. I just went to the store, like the duck in the other story. But I have made this cake, and I approve. I tested this recipe for you. I think it's very good. So if you would like to get this book out from the library, you can make it too. So if any of those stories made you hungry, you can read them for inspiration, or you can think about what other stories you'd like about food. So thank you very much for joining me, friends, and I will see you next week with some more books to recommend. I'll see you later, everybody. Thank you. Bye-bye.